Cancer survivor Fox reporter sends Deion Sanders an emotional message after bladder surgery. "You've got to go get checked." The stadium lights had barely warmed up. Reporters hovered, cameras clicked, and then Deion Sanders walked out. Just as Coach Prime, not just as a Hall of Fame athlete or college football's most dynamic leader, but as a survivor. Just days earlier, the world learned what Sanders had been keeping private for months. He had been diagnosed with bladder cancer, one of the most serious challenges of his life. And at 57, the road to recovery wasn't simple. He underwent surgery to remove his bladder and construct a new one using 18 inches of his own small intestine. But somehow, against all odds, he emerged from the fight cancer-free. His oncologist, death hero, Janet Kukreja, stood next to him at a press conference and delivered the kind of news patients dream of hearing. "I am pleased to report he is cured from the cancer." The moment was powerful. The sports world paused, and for one Fox Sports reporter, it hit closer to home than anyone realized. "He was my favorite player," Erin Andrews speaks from the heart on August 2nd. The Calm Down with Erin and Carissa podcast opened with an emotional shift in tone. Erin Andrews, usually upbeat and polished, leaned into her mic with a quiet intensity. "We're going to talk about someone now that we love very much," she said, her voice soft but filled with strength. "He was my favorite player growing up, and I had the great chance to work with him at NFL Network. That someone, of course, was Deion Sanders. Coach Prime, the same icon who had faced a silent battle with cancer and chosen to make it public, not for sympathy, but for impact." Andrew's voice trembled slightly as she recalled what he went through: the weight loss, the surgery, the writing of a will, the very real possibility of not making it. But what struck her most was the message behind his story. "You've got to go get checked," she said, firmly. "That's what he was stressing today. That's what I love him so much for doing. It's hard to talk about, but you've got to do it." She would know. From one survivor to another in 2016, Erin Andrews herself was diagnosed with cervical cancer. She underwent surgery and astonishingly returned to the sidelines just days later, microphone in hand, smile intact, strength unwavering. Her fight wasn't just physical, it was emotional, spiritual, deeply personal. And so when Deion Sanders revealed his journey, losing 25 pounds, preparing his will, enduring surgery to rebuild a bladder, Erin didn't just understand, she felt it. That's why her message carried more than journalistic empathy. It was survivor to survivor solidarity. "It's a lot that he went through," she continued, "but thank God he caught it. Thank God they got it early." Her Carissa Thompson echoed the sentiment. "He does it all," she said, "and he made it so personal for people to hear. We love you, Coach. We are so happy you're on the mend." It wasn't a podcast segment. It was a love letter, one that millions of listeners heard and many needed. Medical miracles and Coach Prime's unbreakable spirit. The center of Deion's recovery was a complex, rare procedure, neobladder construction. His surgeon, Dr. Kukreja, at the University of Colorado Cancer Center, explained that 18 inches of Sanders' small intestine were used to build an entirely new bladder. "The human body is amazing," she said with awe, "but it's not without complications. His new bladder can't send signals the way a natural one does. Daytime control, manageable nights. More difficult." Did Deion shy away from this truth? Not a chance. "I truly depends," he joked to reporters, a twinkle in his eye. And that was the most Deion thing of all. To take one of life's darkest chapters and laugh in its face. But beneath the humor is a man who stared down mortality and refused to blink. "There's a lot of people going through what I'm going through," he said. "Let's stop being ashamed of it." He never folded, never wavered, those closest to Coach Prime saw a man who didn't crumble not, even when he had every excuse to. Lauren Escoveld, one of the lead athletic trainers who walked with Deion through his recovery, said it simply: he never folded, never wavered. He lost weight, pounds, gone in weeks. He endured surgical trauma. He lived with tubes, pain, the fear of relapse. But he kept going, kept coaching, kept mentoring, kept leading a Colorado Buffaloes team that had become not just a football story, but a cultural movement. He was like Atlanta Falcons prime again, he laughed at one point. A joke, but also a signal. He's back. More than a coach, more than a cancer patient, Deion Sanders has always been more than an athlete, more than a coach. Now, he's more than a cancer survivor. He's a voice for those who are afraid to face medical realities. A mirror for men who delay change. A reminder that strength isn't in denial, but in vulnerability. That's what Erin Andrews meant. That's why the world listened. And that's why 144 undrafted sons, on-field miracles, and bladder surgery are all somehow part of the Sanders narrative now. It's not a comeback story. It's a survival story. The new mission, as Deion returns to his role at Colorado, he carries more than a clipboard. He carries a new mission: health, awareness, vulnerability, resilience, and he's not walking it alone. Survivors like Erin Andrews, who know the pain, have his back to those watching from the sidelines of life, men ignoring symptoms, fans idolizing the primetime image, but not the human underneath. Coach Prime has a simple message: get checked, don't wait, don't be ashamed, because the greatest victory isn't in the end zone, it's in waking up, it's in hearing the word cured, it's in smiling after the storm. And for Deion Sanders, the lights are shining brighter than ever, this time not for the show, but for the soul. As Deion returns to his role at Colorado, he carries more than a clipboard. He carries a new mission: health, awareness, vulnerability, resilience, and he's not walking it alone. Survivors like Erin Andrews, who know the pain, have his back. To those watching from the sidelines of life, men ignoring symptoms, fans idolizing the primetime image, but not the human underneath, Coach Prime has a simple message: get checked, don't wait, don't be ashamed, because the greatest victory isn't in the end zone, it's in waking up, it's in hearing the word cured, it's in smiling after the storm. And for Deion Sanders, the lights are shining brighter than ever this time, not for the show, but for the soul.